Hello everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is the YouTube channel that's dedicated to the development and construction of the Lake Erie and North Shore Railroad. Welcome back to episode 8. In this episode, we're going to build an engine house. We're going to put the wiring in. We're going to put the tracks down inside it. We're going to do some weathering. It's a really exciting, information-filled session. And just before we get started, I just want to thank everybody for all the comments and all of you watching the episodes up until this point. And thanks for coming along on the journey with me in developing this railroad. It's very enthusiastic support, so I appreciate it. And as always, we start our episode with a little bit of railroad soul.
Across the prairies to the sea. They laid the iron for the rails and we ride. They shared their lives, their hearts, and their pride. They had railway soul.
Welcome back. This is the Walther's Car Shop, and this is the next unit that I'm going to have to build before I can complete the installation of the turntable, because I'm going to have to build this and then lay the tracks in before I can cut everything and lay the tracks and glue them down for the turntable. So this is the building that we're going to be building now, so I'll make a separate video on this. So now I am, what I've done so far is I have painted the outside. Painted the outside using gray, sort of a gray Rust-Oleum type paint, but I've done a very light coat so that in some areas you'll see just a little bit of brown from the original model color coming through. And I've just done that just as a starting point for a bit of weathering. I've put the windows in. These are the original colored windows that come with it. And the construction of this building, in my mind, is a brick exterior, so sort of a brick over top of concrete. So on the inside, I've painted this the same color, and this model is different than the roundhouse in that there's not a lot of area that needs to be covered once you have your pillars in, because we have these steel pillars which are going to be going in here, and then there's going to be some other steel going across the top. So in my mind, this is a concrete interior with a brick exterior, like a exterior coating of brick. So I'm not gonna line these areas with any interior bricking this time. So we're just gonna go with a concrete engineering on this. Now these, the metal supports and the pillars and girders, what I initially did was I painted them with a reddish Rust-Oleum, and then I did a very light spray of rust, so you can see the little bit of areas of rust that are happening on this. You can see a little bit of that sort of grimy, gritty, rusty sort of appearance. So these have come out really well. I'm pretty pleased with these. So we will continue now the base. I pretty much used the same technique on the base that I used on the roundhouse, except I did it a little bit more deliberate. So I first of all initially painted it a gray color. Okay, and then I took a black Rust-Oleum paint and just lightly hit it in different areas to simulate grease marks or oil stains on the concrete flooring that this is supposed to represent. Now, because this is a bit newer, I didn't put a lot of scratches in it. I just put a few sort of very, you can see there's a bit of discoloration in some areas, but didn't put a lot in just because it's a newer building, so it wouldn't have as many as the other one. Now, just as a side note, I have been scratch building some other sort of compressor units, which I'm going to put into each of the, so one in the roundhouse and one in the engine facility, because I figure they're probably using air tools and I need compressors. So I've just sort of taken a piece of, so let me just get this up here so you can see it. All right, so I've just taken whoop, that's not glued down. Sorry. Okay. So I've just taken a piece of pipe, like I think it's 1/4 inch pipe, and just painted it with aluminum, and then on the ends I put some wood sort of plugs. I know it doesn't look exactly real, but this is going to be, inside it's going to be like something like that. It'll be inside the engine facility. So that's kind of the view you're going to get of it. Okay, so it looks pretty good. I just made a base out of cardboard and then put some a little bit of that mud that they use for gyprock on the outside, so like a polyfilla type thing, just to give it a concrete look. And the little stand that it's on, I just found some basically offcuts from some of the models that I'd made, and I just cut it to fit and put some red stripes on it. I think it looks pretty good. And then I found these little signs, which I'm gonna try and mount on here. This is not gonna play nicely, but I'll glue these on, see if I can get it to stay. Something like that. And then I've got this hosing, which is just some wire from a Cat 5 cable. So it kind of looks like a compressor, from the distance that you're going to be viewing it. It's pretty cool. So I'm going to make some other stuff too, like some toolboxes and maybe some jacks, and get some crates and things and put in there. So anyway, I just thought you might want to see that, and I'll get back to you with another update once we have more done on this building. So this seems to be a lot easier model to make than the roundhouse, but I haven't actually tried to put it together yet, so we'll see what happens in that instance. Okay, stay around and see how this engine house turns out, and all the little doodads, how they turn out. This one is in a state of construction, as you can see, I've also got this. I found this. I don't even know where this came from, but it looks like a sink. You know, they had the big old sinks where they wash the parts in degreaser and stuff. So I'm gonna try and make a sink out of this. We'll see how that goes, and then I'll mount it somewhere on the wall, something like that. Anyway, I always just keep my eyes open for little things that I may be able to use. I mean, this was off a model truck, and it just kind of looks like an engine type thing with a pipe off it. So I'm going to try and use that as a compressor. I know it's not, you know, technically correct, but it looks pretty cool. So that's what I'm going to do. And we'll try to get a few other things so that we can get some proof of life stuff happening in these models. And I'll probably, once I get this in place, I'll probably take some black, I don't know, black pigments or something, and get this concrete slab a little bit dirtied up. Okay, so I'll update you when I've got some more done. So it's time to get to work. Stay tuned. Okay, we're back. Got the frame built for the engine house. We just have a look down from ground level here. And then we'll just take you up from the drone above. Okay, so this went together really nice. This is a really well constructed model, a well constructed system they have for this model. This was really good. What I would advise though is for these pillars here, you just let me get a stick so that I can point these out to you. These pillars here, okay, when you're putting those in, you have to make sure that you file the backs really good, because that is gonna, those are going to sit right tight against this outside, and let them dry really good. Once they're in and they're dried, I just took a ruler. In fact, I'll show you the one. This ruler right here, and it was really good because I just set it. So I laid these on their side, and I just set this on top just to make sure that all of the little outcroppings here on these things were straight. Okay, now the other thing that you have to do, I'm just going to zoom in here, is that the ends of these ones in the corner here, you have to clip off. And it says, it describes it in the instructions quite clearly. You have to clip those off because they come up flush with this inner brickwork. Okay, so look, this is a really good model. I have to commend the Walters people for this model. This is went together really well. Now, I'm not done yet, but so far this has been really good, and I think it's looking quite nice. Now there is one area here I noticed right here. Let me just get a better view for you, where the actual corner didn't come together. Like I tried to get it to come together. I think there's a little bit of pressure from one of these pieces here that caused that to come out. But look, I'll show you how to fix that. I've got an idea how to fix it. So as we progress through this model, I'll show you how I'm thinking of fixing it. And then down at the ground level now, you'll see it's looking pretty good. It's looking like an engine shed. Now I'm not going to put the doors on. I'm going to leave the doors off, just because I want my tracks to go straight through. And now the next thing I'm going to have to consider is where and how to put the lights in here. Because when the top goes on this, you can actually see in. So I'm going to have to decide, do I want the lights to be seen? And then in that case, I'm going to have to make them look realistic. Or can I hide them somewhere and just have the light being produced? But that's going to be coming up. That's the challenge coming up. Again, I just put it on this foam thing so I can move it around without having to touch the actual model until it's all really solidly dried. Okay, I'll catch you once we have the roof painted up and I start installing the lights, and then I'll update you with any other stuff that happens as we're going along. But so far, quite happy with how it's looking. Looks like a really cool industrial building. I think I'm pretty happy with the way the iron framing has come up, or the steel framing has come up. And yeah, it's a really good model. So I recommend this model from Walthers. It's the car shop. So it's the 3-stall car shop from Walthers. Okay, I'll catch you in a few minutes. Don't go away, because, you know, exciting things are going to happen. Hi, everyone. Welcome back. I was mentioning earlier that I was going to show you a little technique for tightening up some of the corners if they're too loose. So you can see we've got some loose corners here, and a little bit. I'm not really happy with the way that has sort of matched there, so I'm gonna do that too. And if I scroll down, you'll see at the bottom there's a little bit too. So I'm gonna try and show you how to. One thing I'm trying anyway, and we'll see how it works. So I'm just gonna zoom out a bit, I think, so you can see everything. Okay, now what I do is I'm going to take this fine, smooth interior filler, and then I'm just going to take a paintbrush, small paintbrush, just opening this thing up here. Okay, so it kind of looks like this putty type stuff that we use to fill cracks. I'm just going to take a small paintbrush, just literally grab one here. Okay, so I just got a sort of small paintbrush here, and I'm just gonna dip it in, just like that, get some on it. Now, I'm just gonna apply it very lightly to the cracked areas. Sorry, I'm just gonna get this paintbrush a little wet first, and then we're gonna just get a little bit on here, and then we're gonna just take it down like this. Just getting that crack poly filler stuff in there. Now you can just do whole area here. And don't worry if you get some outside, because you're just going to wipe that off. I'll show you how in a minute. So you just fill in the cracks, just like that. And I'm going to go down to the bottom area too. Okay. Now you take a Q-tip, and you get the Q-tip a little bit wet, and then you just roll that Q-tip, sort of roll it as you're moving it.
and you just clean that up. Now, I know there's probably a million other ways to do this, but I'm just going to try this way this time. Okay, then you just take a little bit of a fiber cloth and you just remove any of the other excess that's there. And you'll see when you remove it, the little cracks are filled in pretty nicely. Now, obviously we're going to have to touch this up with some paint. But that shouldn't be too bad to do that. So I just fill any cracks that I'm not happy with. And I just get another Q-tip here, and we'll just clean it off again. And you can, the beauty of this is you can just keep going until you get it right, until you get it how you want. As long as you get this polyfill stuff off before it dries, it's pretty good. Comes off pretty easy. Good. And then I'm going to do a bit here too. Just wasn't quite happy with how that sealed up. Looks pretty good everywhere else. Let's put Ted here, Ted here. Now you don't have a lot of water on this, just enough, and you just roll it. When it gets too much on it, you just change for another one. Change the end. So you get the idea. Now I'll clean this up more, and I'll repaint it, and then we'll come back and you'll see how it looks. Okay, very good. And hopefully that a lot of that was on the camera, hopefully. So we'll be back once I've cleaned this up a little bit, and you get the idea of what I'm trying anyway. Okay, back soon.
Hello, welcome back. This is the first coat of weathering on this engine shop, and I'll just show you. Okay, so you can see the corners are very, very nice. Okay, and anywhere where that sort of putty was put is all sealed in. So it looks really good. Now, like I said, so this is only the first edition, or the first rendition of the weathering on this building. I'm going to go back and finish that off. And this one. So I've just laid down a bit of grease and stuff on it, and I'm going to go back and feather that out and make it look a little more real. Now the roof, I painted a teal color, and it's got a bit of
Just get from the side here. It's got a bit of rust on it. That's just set in there now. It's not down. And then this piece of structural steel here, I'm going to paint the same as this. At first I was going to leave it like this, and then I thought, no, better do it the same color as there. So I'll have to paint that with a brush. But I don't think it's going to matter much. I don't think you're going to see it too much. Now, the one improvement, I was going to say mistake, but the one improvement I think I can make on this filling in the cracks stuff that we use sort of here, I mean, it works really well. I mean, the corners are just excellent. These are the ones that were bad, and they're just like totally perfect now. The thing is, though, I think if I was going to do it again, or when I do it again in the future, I will color the putty to the color that I want it before I put it on, because it did have a little bit of white. So you can see, if you look way in the background here, you can see that there is a bit of white there. So next time, or when you do it, take the color you want and put it into the putty first, so that you have it very similar to the color you want. Okay, well look, I'm gonna get this finished and get some lights in it, and then we'll get it on the layout, and then we'll continue with the turntable. Okay, so quick update for you, and stay tuned because this thing's going on the layout next time. Okay, so I just wanted to show you, I'm getting ready to install the lights, so I need to drill through the base plate, and with a hole big enough, I'm going to put four separate wires in for 4 separate LEDs. Now what I want to do is just come inside the posts, the little steel girders that are going up, and then I'm going to run the wire through the girders at the top. So I'm just going to show you how I drill, just in case you haven't done this before. It is quite tricky. So you're going to stabilize, not the windows because they'll fall out, but stabilize. Now I want to come just to the right of the pillar, which I know is center. Now you go very, very slow. And you don't want to go any faster than this, because when it pulls through, the drill will pull quite quickly and you can smash into stuff. And it happens so fast that you can't stop it. I'm just gonna reload this one. Okay, through. Now I just reverse out. There we go. Now let's have a look. You will see there is a window out because I did knock a window out, unfortunately. Just going to see if I can get this focused now. So you'll see where the holes are right next to the girders. There. And there. I'm going to run that wire straight up the girders. I'll put that window back in. No worries. If that's the worst thing that happens, I'll be thankful. That's for sure. So I just wanted to show you the drilling. I'll show you what I did my wires. So these are basically wires from a Cat 5 cable. I just put the resistor on the one end. I'll just hold this there for you. Resistor on the one end, LED on the other. And then I just painted these wires aluminum. So high gloss aluminum. And I think they kind of look like, I hope they're going to kind of look like conduit. So once I get them going through there, hopefully it's not going to show up too much. Or if it does show up, it's going to look like a piece of conduit running through there. Okay, so I'll update you when I get this done, and we'll see how it looks. I'll have to call a window repairman, for God's sakes, put the window back in. Okay, bye. Hello, welcome back. I did call a window repairman, and we got those windows put back in, and that was good. It costs a lot of money to put those windows back in, by the way. Window repairmen are not cheap. But what we did also do is call the electrician, and they put in the lights. So you can see here, now these lights, they look a little crude right now, okay? But when I put the roof on, they actually look pretty good. So I'm gonna leave them just like that. Now you'll notice, if I can just zoom in here. Okay, you'll see right, let me get a stick here so I can point this out. All right, now you see these little wires that I've used to clamp those in. Just, I'll show you where we got those and what they are. I'm just gonna zoom out a little bit now. So these are from garbage bag ties. So what I did was I took these garbage bag ties and I was tying a garbage bag, and I went, whoa, look how thin those little wires are. I could probably use those to hook in my lights. So there you go. I don't even know if you can see that. Let me just try to get it onto something. There we go. I just peeled the plastic off it, and I got this little wire. It's a really, really little wire, but it's amazing. It will wrap around, and you can just tighten it up with the pliers, and voila, you've got some really, really thin wire that can hold stuff in. And why that's important is right here, you'll see I have one around the top right here, and it's so thin that it looks like it's come a bit loose actually. But anyway, the point, I'll tighten that back up, but the point is it's so thin that you can lay the roof right on that. It's not going to matter. I'll go over here to this one. There we go. There's one there too that's tied in. Okay, so the roof goes right on and no issues. So I'm gonna get this, I think we're ready now to get this onto the layout. So I'll put this on the layout. I've, just one more thing. So these holes, okay, where the wires are going through, I have set the building back on the layout, and I've marked those, and I drilled those holes into the baseboard, so that when I put these wires through, oh, by the way, I have put the resistors on these, and I've just done some shrink wrap around those resistors. So when I put these wires through the hole, they're going to match up on the baseboard. So I'll just show you we've got some resistors with shrink wrap on them. And if you look inside, trying to get it to focus, but it actually looks pretty cool. It's kind of like some kind of some conduit going up on those steel beams. Okay, so that's kind of the look I was going for, so I'm happy with that. Okay, so what I will do is I will get this on the layout. We'll get the roof on, and then we'll maybe give you a shot of how the lights look at night. Okay, excellent. Welcome back to this sort of how I did it build on this engine house. And you can see I got the tracks in there. And I will be gluing those down and then just putting this back on the layout. And then once that's in, the track's glued down, then we can go back to the turntable. Yay! That's what we've been waiting for all this time. Okay, so I will let you go and I'll update you when this is on the layout and the roof's on, and maybe we can give you some looks at the night view with the lights on, and I'll finish the final weathering on the side. Like I said, this is just the first coat of weathering, and then I'll smooth that out so it looks more realistic. All right, so far, really pleased with this model, really pleased with how it's going together, and we'll see how it lights up at night. Okay, don't go away, come back soon. Just another update on the engine house. So the rest of the weathering is, well, the second coat of weathering has been done, and you'll see that we've got all of that grease and grime has started to blend in. This way, I'll just take it around the other side. And you'll notice we've got a bit of grime on the floor in there. We've got a big compressor that we use to use the power tools. And we got a shipment of parts in. And John decided he's going to have a seat, have a little rest for a minute. So all in all, I'm really happy with how this has turned out. It looks really good. Roof is on, by the way. I'll just take you around the other side. Just watch out you don't get too dizzy as the camera moves. And there we go. So when you look in the windows, you can see the compressor. There's a lot of grease down this side. I'm going to put a lot of some, rubbish and stuff down in there in that alleyway. And then we can see from this end, there's the shipment, there's the compressor. So we'll fill that up with some more stuff. But all in all, coming along pretty good. You can see the weathering starting to have a real effect there. Okay, so that's the update on the engine house, and I'll just scroll back so you can sort of get an idea of the scene here of the engine house and the roundhouse. I'll come around the front, and I will get one final picture or one final video with all these lit up at night. And these tracks around that turntable are all glued in and ready to go. That's starting to come around, and once I get this section over here done, which has just been remodeled, you remember that had to be all ripped up, so it's just been painted, so I'm just waiting for that to dry. Once that dries, we'll get those tracks in, and then we'll go back and work on this baby, the turntable, which has also come up really nice. That's the sort of round, I've taken the brush and just done some round strokes there as it was drying, just to give it that effect that, those big trowels they use, those big round trowels, just give it that effect. And then this is going to get weathered. The tape will come off, and we'll trim these tracks up because they haven't been trimmed yet, and we'll see if the turntable works. So I'll tell you what, this has been a real adventure. I'll tell you, really worthwhile getting this turntable in, getting the engine roundhouse built, getting the engine house done. I'm starting to see this whole scene is starting to take effect now. And you can see where I've got the outline for the gas tank that's going to go there. So all in all, coming along. Hope you stay with me as we move forward here, and hope this isn't boring everyone to death. But I think things are coming together. Okay, so stay tuned and we will continue the adventure. Bye for now.